Happy Independence Day. As we celebrate this weekend our nation's founding, I thought that I might highlight for you three pieces of music that we recorded at First Presbyterian Lancaster this past year. Each conveys a spirit or a message that we might consider to be distinctly American. The first piece is a piano trio, the second is a vocal solo, and the third piece features our Aeolian Skinner organ. So first we'll listen to Brethren We Have Met to Worship, set for piano trio by Brian Joyce. Here I'm joined by violinist Betsy Swartz and cellist Beth Lavender. After you hear the piece, I'll talk a little bit more about it, so enjoy. So what makes the piece that you just heard distinctly American? Brethren We Have Met to Worship actually is one of the oldest published American folk hymns, with the lyrics dating back to 1819. The melody that accompanies those lyrics has its own name. It's called Holy Manna, and it first appeared in 1825 in a shape note songbook. That particular technique, shape note singing, would have helped people in the 19th century to learn to sing melodies or harmonies more easily. It involves assigning a specific shape to different notes so that singers would know which pitch to sing. The tune Holy Manna requires just 5 pitches, do, re, mi, sol, and la, and 3 of its 4 lines are identical. In other words, it's a fairly easy tune to learn. The melodies of American folk hymns, like this one, largely came from secular folk songs of the British Isles. During the Great Awakening, those melodies were adapted and were paired with sacred texts in America. That blending and the styles that emerged are what our ears now recognize as a particularly American sound. The second piece that you're about to hear began as a poem written in 1900 and was then set to music by the author's brother. It was first recited by school children to celebrate the anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birthday. Here is Lift Every Voice and Sing, sung by my friend Amy Yovanovitch. The lyrics you just heard evoke images of the biblical exodus of the Israelites from slavery to the freedom of the Promised Land. The author of the poem, James Weldon Johnson, was an important American writer during the Harlem Renaissance. He was a lawyer, a civil rights activist, and the first African American professor at NYU. He was also executive secretary of the NAACP, the first of many organizations to characterize Lift Every Voice and Sing as our country's Black national anthem. The third and final piece you'll hear today is America the Beautiful. These lyrics also began as a poem written by Catherine Lee Bates. Bates was an English professor at Wellesley College who was traveling to Colorado by train. She wrote the lyrics that we know from the heights of Pikes Peak as she viewed America's Great Plains. The lyrics and the music weren't necessarily written to go together. Interestingly, Bates never even met Samuel Ward, the organist who, more than a decade earlier, composed the tune Materna, with which her poem is paired today. This organ setting of America the Beautiful is arranged by Marianne Kim. She is a Korean-born composer who earned her undergraduate degree in Korea before coming to the United States. After working as a musician here for a decade, she earned a dual master's in jazz studies and in organ performance. And I chose her setting because I think that the notion of a Korean American composer arranging a patriotic standard in the jazz idiom says something pretty interesting about the diversity of experience that we are so fortunate to witness in America. I hope that you'll enjoy and have a happy Independence Day.